Alright guys, now for the first time someone has made a request to me to do a movie. It was a friend of mine who he asked me to do it a few weeks ago, but I haven't been able to get around to it because I've got a lot of stuff going on, personal business and work to deal with, so I haven't been able to do it. So I finally was able to get it started today, and he requested to do a Star Wars movie. So I asked him which one. Anyone from 1 to 6. I thought, alright, I'll start with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, this was the very first Star Wars movie I ever saw. So this movie is very important to me because it introduced me to the franchise. And after when I saw this movie, I started collecting costumes. I had an Obi-Wan Kenobi mask, I had the robe, I had the belt, I had his lightsaber, I had a Qui-Gon Jinn mask, robe, lightsaber. My brother, he had a Darth Maul mask and the dual lightsaber, which was pretty cool. When the film was released in 1999, I was just 9 years old at that point. And I had absolutely no idea what Star Wars was. Absolutely no idea what it was. I just saw the movie being advertised on the TV, and I just thought, that looks pretty cool. I'd like to go and see that. And immediately I started imitating the lightsaber duels because it just looked so amazing at that time. I watched the movie a few weeks ago, and throughout the entire film, I had a smile on my face. Yes, I understand that to many Star Wars fans that they don't like the prequels. They say that the prequels suck. And I understand that everyone has their own view. I get that. Yes, the prequels aren't all that great. But I grew up on those and not the original trilogy. So, I love the original trilogy. Don't get me wrong, I love the original trilogy, but the prequel trilogy is my trilogy because, as I said, I grew up on those. I did watch 4, 5 and 6 after watching episode 1. But I was struggling to believe that 4, 5 and 6 was properly Star Wars at that point, because when I saw episode 1, I saw many Jedi, you know, Coruscant, the Jedi Council, battle droids, stuff like all that stuff. But when I first watched episode 4, there were no battle droids. There was stormtroopers, no multiple Jedi, just one. So I was struggling at that point to, like 4, 5 and 6. But as time went on, I began to appreciate them even more and began to fall in love with those movies. So my personal view on episode 1, and as I've said, is the first Star Wars movie that I ever watched. So as I said, it's got that nostalgia feeling. And as I said, I had a smile on my face all the way through the movie. This may piss a lot of people off, but I love Jar Jar Binks. I do. And because I said I was only a kid when I first watched it, so I enjoyed the humour at that point. But yeah, I can understand that loads of people hate him, and the movie does come under a lot of backlash due to stereotypes, racial stereotypes. Like, Watto is a Jewish stereotype. He only cares about money. Viceroy Gunnery is supposed to be Asian. The way that he talks, for example, when Queen Amidala first appears on the screen, he goes, quoting, "Again, you become before us, Your Highness." And yeah, as I get older, I get that. Yeah, that is a bit of a stereotype, and I can understand people might get offended by that. I get it, I do. But I just love the movie. I absolutely love the movie. It does have its faults. Jake Lloyd. I've got nothing against the guy personally. I've got nothing against the guy. Although he said himself, after doing episode 1, apparently he said they ruined a lot of things for him. Because loads of people hated it. And when I watched it back, after not seeing it for quite some time, I did see that very bad performance. It was very bland. It was kind of forced. I know he was just a kid, but I've seen better child actors than him. Sorry, Jake, but I have. I've seen better child actors who are younger than you. Yeah, but I can't give all fault to the actors. I mean, like, one of my favourite actors, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Love the character of Obi-Wan. Love the character of Obi-Wan. And being at that point when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a Jedi. I wanted to be Obi-Wan Kenobi or be Obi-Wan's apprentice. Because I just loved the character. And also loved the character Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson. I just think it was great. I completely bore as a master and apprentice. Like when you first see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, first bits of dialogue from them starts off with Obi-Wan just going, "I have a bad feeling about this." And Qui-Gon just going, "I don't sense anything." It's because Obi-Wan senses something's not right, but Qui-Gon tells him not to downplay on his anxieties, to keep his concentration here and now where it belongs, despite Obi-Wan saying that Master Yoda said he should be mindful of the future. And when we first introduced to Jar Jar Binks down on Naboo, as I said, I love Jar Jar. I don't hate him. As I said, if anyone disagrees with me, you're more than welcome to say anything. They're saying that if you like Jar Jar, if you don't, just let me know what you think of him. Natalie Portman as Queen Amidala, and when the Trade Federation invades the city of Theed, Natalie Portman as Padme is no longer queen, is in disguise as a handmaiden. Keira Knightley is her decoy. I think Keira Knightley's a great actress as well, but it's just the queen is just some of her lines. For example, either choice results in great danger to us all. Like, Keira, just emote, something like that. It's just so robotic. Same thing with Natalie. Love Natalie Portman. I think, as I said, as well, I think she's a great actress. I've seen her in good films. I mean, I watched some clips of her movie Black Swan. I think she was great in that. Yeah, it's just the fact that George Lucas wrote and directed Episode 1. It actually is the second Star Wars film he's directed. 5 and 6 weren't directed by him. So as director, you know, he wants his actors to deliver lines in a certain way. Sometimes, you know, it can come off bland. I get that. But with the problems with the dialogue and how it's delivered, one of my all-time favourites of the prequel trilogy is the lightsaber duels. First one with Qui-Gon and Darth Maul on Tatooine, after when Qui-Gon's freed Anakin as Watto's slave. Oh, sorry about that. Mini vomit. I do apologise about that. Quick lightsaber duel before Qui-Gon escapes on the ship, they leave Tatooine when they were able to escape Naboo, and having when you see R2-D2 on Queen Amidala's ship fixing the shield, fixing the fuel generator. So, my first introduction to R2. So, and the Jedi, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan have to take the Queen to Coruscant. Now, for people who do like the movie and who hate the next part of what I'm going to start talking about on Coruscant, loads of people hate. And once again, I understand why they do. Squabbling delegates, as Senator Palpatine says, it's all politics, discussions. And people who don't care about politics certainly is going to hate that section of the movie. But once again, I don't mind it. At this point, Senator Palpatine is now trying to get into the Queen's head and try and get her to move a vote of no confidence to Supreme Chancellor Valorum. Because with the Trade Federation invasion on Naboo, she believes that Chancellor Valorum is not going to do anything about it. And so Palpatine pushes the Queen to move a vote of no confidence to remove Chancellor Valorum from power, so that Palpatine can become Chancellor himself. And it's the beginning of what it is to become the Emperor. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it, but the movie was released in 1999. If you've seen the others but you haven't seen episode 1, where have you been? So with that beginning with Palpatine planting the seeds of what's to come in the future, he's nominated to become Chancellor, and he wants the Queen to sign the treaty, which the Viceroy also wanted her to sign, so they can make the invasion legal. But Queen Amidala says no. So she decides to return to Naboo. Palpatine says no. And during that time, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan have gone to the Jedi Council. And Qui-Gon reveals to the Council that the Sith have returned. And Mace Windu, played by Samuel L. Jackson, says, "I do not believe the Sith could have returned without us knowing." But as Yoda points out, quoting as Yoda would say, hard to see the dark side is. And then Qui-Gon wanted to talk to the Council about Anakin, believing that Anakin is the chosen one to destroy the Sith. And he requests to the Council for Anakin to be trained as a Jedi. So Anakin is in the Council, being tested. And he passes that test. They say the Force is strong with Anakin. So Qui-Gon asks, he is to be trained? Master Windu just goes, no, he will not be trained. He's too old. Because children who are strong with the Force are brought up at a very young age. And Anakin is like 10 years old at the time. So that's considered too old to start training. I personally don't understand why that is. Why George Lucas wrote that sense saying that a 10-year-old is too old to start training as a Jedi. But that's him. That's what he decided. He created the franchise. That's his decision. Back then, when I first watched it, it just went straight over my head. Straight over my head. But now looking at back at now, so it's a bit strange. A 10-year-old being too old to start training as a Jedi. And I'm just going to apologise for my speech impediment. Should have said that at the start. This, I'll say, angers Qui-Gon a bit. Because he wants Anakin to be trained as a Jedi. And he said he'll take Anakin as his Padawan learner. But the look on Obi-Wan's face is just like, what? You're going to train him, but I'm your apprentice. But the code forbids a Jedi training two people at the same time. Qui-Gon says to the Council Obi-Wan is ready to face the trials. But with this thing with Anakin, it causes friction between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. And Obi-Wan has said to Qui-Gon before, saying that if Qui-Gon would follow the code, he will be on the Council. And he's defied the Council before. So Qui-Gon didn't defy the Council, that Qui-Gon Jinn would be on the Jedi Council. Although Qui-Gon says he must will do what he feels is what he must. And some people do that, and I get that. I mean, I've had to do things that people don't like, but I had to do it because I did it because I had to. Because everyone in times in life will do things because they have to, even if the other people don't like it. Everyone has done it, and everyone else will do it. It's just one of those things that happens in life. So with the fact that with Anakin is causing more friction between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, that as everyone's leaving for Naboo, Obi-Wan's just like, it's not disrespect, Master, it's the truth. So from your point of view, the boy is dangerous. They all sense it, why can't you? His fate is uncertain. He's not dangerous. The Council will decide Anakin's fate. That should be enough from you. Now get on board. It's just that tension between master and apprentice. Only Qui-Gon believes that Anakin is the chosen one. Obi-Wan did not sense anything right with that Anakin, nor did the Council. So when everyone has left Coruscant to go back to Naboo, they land in the jungle. They don't land in Theed. Jar Jar was asked for help by Queen Amidala, because Jar Jar, as a Gungan, his people are warriors. And I forgot to mention at the start of my thoughts of this movie, that when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan have met Jar Jar in the jungle, Jar Jar takes them to his city, Otoh Gunga, which is underwater. And the cinematography that you see in this movie are just great. I mean, I still believe they still look good after all these years. So when Jar Jar goes to Otoh Gunga to warn, to try and ask his fellow Gungans for help, the entire city's deserted. But because of the invasion, since they left the city, they've gone to a sacred place. And the Queen, as Keira Knightley, still playing the Queen at this point, as the decoy, requests Boss Nass, who's the leader, for help. And then Padme steps up and says that she's Queen Amidala, and everyone's like saying that Anakin, just see the look on the confusion of Anakin's face, because Padme reveals that, you know, Keira Knightley in the dressing up as the Queen is a decoy. So our handmaidens will dress up as the Queen to protect her, to protect Padme, and get killed most likely. And if the decoy queen gets killed, and business like so, the Padme will just go, ha, fucking ha ha, fooled you. I'm the real queen. Alright, but like Keira Knightley, Natalie doesn't emote during this scene. It's just stone face, robotic voice. As I've said, I've seen her in other films, and she's a great actress. But it's just that I just don't understand why George has, you know, makes his actors and actresses just more like sound robotic at times. So when she begs Boss Nass for help, Boss Nass agrees. And it's up between one of my favourite scenes in the movie, the battle droids versus the Gungans on the outskirts of the city. So when everyone else makes their way into the city, big battle between the droids and all the and all the people that Captain Panaka was able to recruit for help. Qui-Gon tells Anakin to find cover. Anakin climbs into a Naboo starfighter, and then Anakin wants to help and tries to find the trigger, but he presses the button, starts up the engine, it pulls a switch, closes the hatch. It's just like saying, "Wow, really?" And then he finds the controls, and just think, well, oh, there's a button, but you got something right in front of you, which is going to be, you know, right, which is going to shoot your lasers. So Anakin and R2 go up into space to find to help to go with the other Naboo starfighters to help to take out the Trade Federation ship that's orbiting the planet. And while Padme, Captain Panaka, and fellow soldiers are making their way to the throne room to get to the Viceroy, and Anakin's going up, and while Anakin's going into space because the ship is on autopilot, my favorite scene in Episode 1 is the lightsaber duel with Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Darth Maul was a lot of people's favourite character in Episode 1, the dual lightsaber. Just something like that would be cool. And I can't. And the actor who plays Darth Maul does his own stunts. He's just, I just think he's great, you know. But sadly, his voice was dubbed over, because like Darth Maul was like this menacing guy, and the actor who plays Darth Maul as a Scotsman wouldn't have sounded menacing to George Lucas, so he got someone else to voice Darth Maul, like James Earl Jones was the voice of Darth Vader in episodes 4, 5 and 6. Although they had someone in the Darth Vader suit. And big respect for the guy who plays Darth Maul. I think he's a fantastic guy. Like, he does his own stunts, he does his own flips, he does all that. And how he spins the dual lightsaber is just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And so the movie will cut between the lightsaber duel, Padme and Panaka to get to the throne room, and Anakin in space. Anakin gets inside the Trade Federation ship. The ship overheats, so it switches, so it's shut down. Then after, when everything's cooled down, he conveniently launches torpedoes into the ship's main reactor, which destroys it from the inside. Padme and Panaka and the soldiers get captured, get taken to the throne room. The decoy turns up, and Viceroy Gunray sends the droids to go after the decoy, believing that Padme is the decoy. So after when the battle droids in the throne room are taken out, now Viceroy Gunray is trapped. Now, after that, it's now just the rest of the lightsaber battle. Obi-Wan just gets kicked left, right, and center by Darth Maul. After one particular kick sends Obi-Wan down quite a long height, and it's just down to Maul and Qui-Gon for the time being. It looks like Qui-Gon is got Darth Maul backing up, and then they get enclosed in one particular room. Darth Maul gets the upper hand on Qui-Gon and kills him. When I was a kid, I didn't like this bit. Whenever if it was on TV, or if I had it, because I had it on VHS, I always fast forward Qui-Gon dying, because I didn't like seeing a Jedi die. Obviously, as I got older, I just thought, it's a movie. It's a movie. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna die every time I watch it. So, so now, after a little while, I got used to it. And I don't skip anything in it. I don't skip anything in the movie. After when Qui-Gon is killed, it's now just down to Obi-Wan, and fight scene still amazing. Obi-Wan cuts Darth Maul's dual lightsaber. It looks like he's got the upper hand, and then Darth Maul force pushes Obi-Wan down a pit. Obi-Wan's hanging on for dear life. And then one quick cut to the Gungans, as they've been captured by the battle droids. But now, because the Trade Federation ship has been destroyed, the droids just shut down. So the Gungans start cheering. Back to Darth Maul and Obi-Wan. People question this, that Darth Maul is just striking the edge of the pit with his lightsaber with sparks, trying to get to see if that will make Obi-Wan let go, and so Obi-Wan fall to his death down the pit. And it's like, why can't he just throw his lightsaber at Obi-Wan and use the Force to bring it back? Obi-Wan used the Force on Qui-Gon's lightsaber because Darth Maul has kicked Obi-Wan's down the pit. So there's a look of anger on Obi-Wan's face, a look of confusion on Darth Maul. Obi-Wan uses the Force to get out of the pit, get Qui-Gon's lightsaber, and slices Darth Maul in half. And this has angered a lot of people who like Darth Maul, because this badass just gets sliced in half like that after killing a Jedi Master and a Jedi Apprentice, just slicing him in half. Because fans would have wanted to see Darth Maul in the next movie. So this has angered a lot of people who watched the film. Because Darth Maul survives if you watch Star Wars the animated series. He survived. He's got mechanical legs. But in movies, no, he didn't survive. He's dead. So after when Darth Maul falls into the pit, comes apart, Obi-Wan goes to Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon somehow still alive, but is in his dying breaths. Qui-Gon says to Obi-Wan he wants him to train Anakin. Obi-Wan says, yes, I will train him. Qui-Gon says, like, he is the chosen one. He will bring balance. And then he dies, and then you see Obi-Wan just cradling his master and crying. And now Palpatine has now become Chancellor. He says to Obi-Wan, "We're grateful for your bravery, Obi-Wan Kenobi." And looks at Anakin, "And you, young Skywalker, will watch your career with great interest." Taps him on the shoulder. So now looks like things in the Republic are going to become peaceful. Master Yoda is on Naboo, and to confirm to Obi-Wan the level of Jedi Knight. The Council agrees to Obi-Wan to train Anakin, but Yoda still does not like it. He's like, "The chosen one, the boy may be. Nevertheless, grave danger I fear in his training." Obi-Wan is good, and Obi-Wan replies, Master Yoda, "I gave Qui-Gon my word. I will train Anakin. Without the approval of the Council if I must." Qui-Gon's defiance I sense in you. Need that you do not. "Agree with you the Council does. Your apprentice, Skywalker, will be." You just see that Yoda just does not like it, but he relents and agrees for Obi-Wan to train Anakin. And then, in the scene, Qui-Gon's funeral. Anakin turns to Obi-Wan and asks him what will happen to him. Obi-Wan says to Anakin, "The Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise." So Anakin's dream is going to come true. He's to become a Jedi. Now, another favourite scene of mine is the very end. The celebration. The peace between the people of Naboo and the Gungans. They have a peace orb that the Queen gives to Boss Nass. Boss Nass holds it above his head and yells peace, and everyone starts celebrating. I have a big smile on my face, and everyone's having a good time. Party. You see Jake Lloyd with the apprentice haircut, you know, with the small ponytail, the braid going to the shoulder. Natalie is once again dressing up as the Queen. She puts a nice smile on, and Jake's has just got a half smile. It's just like saying that, "Yep, when I'm older, I'm gonna do you." And it's just a nice touch to the end of the film. Nice party, nice happy celebrations, peace on Naboo. So my final thoughts, as I've said, I love this movie. It's not for everybody, but I give it a thumbs up. I do give it a thumbs up. And if anyone who watched this video, like, you know, if you have anything to say, put in the comments below. And if you'd like me to give my thoughts on the other Star Wars movies, I will. If you want me to do episode 2, I'll do episode 2. If you want to do episode 4, I'll do that. I won't do them in a particular order, but I might do episode 2 anyway next. Not sure when, but I'll get to it. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves.